So this may or may not be my first or second attempt of reviewing the brand new Velotric Thunder 1 ST, because my first review video, well, the microphone quality was not the best. You can easily swap the tires. But thanks to that technical difficulties from the previous video, this allows me to spend more time with this e-bike to really allow you to give you more of the pros and cons and some things to expect if you're actually planning on purchasing the all-new Thunder 1 ST, so you have a general better understanding if this bike truly is the best one for you. So for better or worse, my name is Eddie, welcome to Hotshot Tech, and here's my review on why this e-bike is now my new favorite e-bike that I own. Let's get started. So the MSRP price for the Thunder 1 ST is about $1,499, technically $1,500 if you round up, which in my opinion, that is a super deal for this e-bike. Because upon assembly, this thing actually has some impressive stuff that I typically will expect to find on a e-bike 3 times more the price tag. Because for such an affordable e-bike of this caliber, if you look at the caliper, actually the lines actually go through the frame, which is something that I haven't yet seen on a budget e-bike like this. Now, the beauty was going with Velotric brand e-bikes in general is that they're actually using Samsung certified cell batteries. So these internal batteries are built to last and won't randomly burst into flames if you're charging it overnight. Usually off-brand e-bikes usually use like unsafe battery cells. Now the Velotric does have tutorial video guides how to remove the internal battery, so later down the line you notice that the batteries aren't holding as much of a good charge anymore. Don't worry, you're not left stranded. There is a tutorial guide how to swap them if you need to. Hello, Eddie from the future. So as I'm making the video, I guess they took down that video tutorial how to do so. But I watched it, it was really straightforward. You simply just remove these screws and like a large battery pack, it just slides out. It's interesting. Hopefully by the time you're watching this video, that video's back up on their channel how to remove it and swap it. And even though the battery cells are literally built into this portion of the bike right here, it's extremely light still, as the whole bike entirely with the battery and everything fully assembled weighs just about 36 pounds, which makes carrying on your back or shoulder up some stairs extremely easy. And then if you look closely, there's support for all kinds of accessories on this bike, as it does have a reasonable max payload, so you can actually attach like a bracket or something like that if you need to, a basket. Heck, you even have ports right here if you actually want to attach like a water bottle holder or something like that. There's a lot of freedom to attach accessories onto this thing. And another thing I noticed, the front wheel actually does have an axle. Again, this is something that I would typically find on a more expensive e-bike. And the braking system that it has is actually using hydraulics disc brakes, as the rotors in front are respectively big, 160 millimeters. And when it comes to stopping at a high speed run, 18 miles per hour, this thing has plenty of stopping power. Brakes work. Now in terms of specs, this is powered by a 350 watt engine in the back that actually is dead silent when it's activated, and it's using a torque sensor. And this torque sensor, I've noticed, the beauty about this e-bike is it doesn't behave like a motorcycle like some other e-bikes, because this is technically a class 1 e-bike. That means there's no throttle, but is able to achieve a top speed up to 20 miles per hour. But realistically, from my experience, I've actually been able to cruise at 22 miles per hour. Now, if you wanted to go faster, there is a way you can unlock it, but you can unlock this to be able to go up to 25 miles per hour. So you got technically convert this class 1 e-bike into a class 3. And the instructions on how to unlock the speed limit for the Thunder 1 or the Thunder 1 ST, super easy. To unlock it, first make sure the bike is on, and then for number 2, press and hold the light button on the remote for around 20 seconds. Then the purple LED light will begin flashing for 5 seconds to indicate that you have successfully unlocked 25 miles per hour. Now please note that customers who unlock their speed on their e-bikes, they must check and ensure personally comply with their local law. Electric bikes take no responsibilities for any legal liabilities that may come from using their bike. Not the exact word, but my summary. And surely enough, I reset the odometer on my Apple Watch. I then realized I had it on knots, but I corrected it. But the top speed I was able to clock was indeed 25 miles per hour. Now this e-bike comes available in 2 size choices to choose from, small and medium. Small size is the one I have right here. I'm 5'8", and I'm in the middle where I could get either the small or the medium size. But this time I decided instead of going with the medium, I went with the small for a few good reasons. Because judging by the images, the small reminds me a lot like a BMX bike, which means this bike should allow me to be able to throw it around, toss it around and stuff like that to make quick turns, because I grew up with BMX bikes and the images, they basically made me remind myself of the BMX days. And yeah, I was right, this thing is super fun to swing around. So size small was perfect. And judging by the tires, although yes, it does look like this is more of a street commuter, if you need to go on gravel terrain roads, you can. Because out of the box, you do have 700 by 40 Cs, front and rear tires, puncture resistant. But if you like to increase the texture and stuff like that, of course, you could always swap the tires with something more gravel friendly, which is something I may consider doing in a little bit, because this thing, again, it's really fun to ride. Now at 0 to 80% charge, in case you're curious, will take you about 4 hours. But once the battery is charged all the way to 100, you're able to get 52 miles of range under a single charge. And that's more than enough for my needs, and I'm sure everybody else as well. But thanks to the beauty of the lightness body of the e-bike, I find myself actually cruising with the engine disabled, as it does use a 8-speed Shinamo gear selector right here on the handlebar. And since it doesn't have fat tires like traditional e-bikes nowadays have for some weird reason, it requires less friction to actually get the wheels to move, since there's less resistance. And because of that, with these tires, with this setup and this light body, this bike is actually extremely fun to ride with the electric engine turned off. Which is great, because if you actually find yourself out of battery or you forget to charge this e-bike, don't worry, this thing operates just fine turned off like a traditional bicycle. The seat itself that it comes with, surprisingly, even though it's thin, is actually really comfortable. But if you like to, you can always just swap it. Now, before every Velotric bike is shipped out to you, it is hand inspected to make sure quality control is on top, so there isn't any imperfection or anything like that. They have a whole unboxing or an assembly guide video in Velotric's YouTube channel. So if you pick up this bike, I highly recommend watching that video before you start assembling your e-bike. But assembling this e-bike took me just under 20 minutes. So there's 5 assist modes on this e-bike. There's Eco, Tour mode, Normal, Sport mode, and Turbo. And what I found out is no matter what mode you select, even in Eco mode, you can still achieve the 20 miles per hour top speed. It's just the different aggressive modes that will just allow you to achieve that top speed quicker. It actually does have the capability to be paired to your Find My app on your iPhone, which is quite advanced. This allows you to actually pinpoint the location where your bike is known. You can also toggle sound, so you can actually help locate it faster. So if this does get stolen and you're in contact with the authorities, you can confirm to them that indeed is your e-bike. All free, no monthly services. Now my e-bike is the lava color choice option, which is basically like this cool orange. If you don't like this bright orange color, there is also sand, which is like a nice neutral gray color. And just like any ordinary Velotric bike, this bike comes loaded out of the box, as you do have a bell, functional headlights, a illuminating rear light, and you have all the tools needed to finish the assembly right out of the box. And then the headlights themselves automatically go on based off the environment situation. So as soon as it turns dark, you don't have to remember to turn on the headlight manually. The headlight will automatically enable itself. And it's pretty bright too. Compared to my Velotric Discovery 1, I noticed this headlight's more new, and it's able to illuminate a lot brighter and illuminate the road evenly, especially at night, compared to my Discovery 1. And when it comes to riding up like high steep grade hills, 9% grade, that's a fine example, it does slow down the bike a little bit. The 45 Newton meter engine that it has in the back does allow me to maintain speed, but it still requires me to do some pedaling, I noticed. So if you live in a very hilly environment like San Francisco or something like that, this engine is slightly less powerful for that. So I'll recommend looking into like the Discovery 1 or something like that, something with a more powerful engine. If you barely hit some hills and stuff like that, this is perfectly fine. One thing I do love about this torque sensor is it only engages as you apply power, which is nice. It makes like a super smooth transition with the engine on and off. So it doesn't like jerk you around like other e-bikes typically would. And once more, it's dead silent. So it doesn't even sound like an e-bike as you're passing people. And don't worry, if you go over puddles or find yourself riding in the rain, this is IPX for dust and wire resistant. And when you leave it out in the open, from a far distance, there's no other way you can actually tell that this is indeed an e-bike of some sort. The only way you can actually tell is if you actually look at the charge port on the side. That's literally the only giveaway I could think of, because from afar it just looks like your standard bike, which is amazing because if left alone it will easily not gather unwanted attention. Now, I did do a 20-mile run the other day, and I gotta admit, the ergonomic handlebars that this bike has, it's really nice because it just rests all the pressure evenly on your hand. Unlike other like bike handles, typically it just feels like you're resting all your weight on a pole. This one spreads out evenly, so I really do like these ergonomic handles that it has. But all in all, this bike is absolutely amazing. I like the custom phone mount that it has, which basically you just use your existing iPhone case or cell phone case in general. It locks into place. Not once have I felt like this is going to easily come off or anything like that. My phone has been staying on the e-bike all the time just fine, very secure. And since the phone is placed right here, I'm able to have navigation up, or what I like to do is just run a third-party speedometer app so I could monitor my speed right here on my display. And I could imagine some people could also use this to play music as they're riding as well. It also has very useful features too, like if you long press on the negative button, if you're walking your bike, this will engage the engine so you can actually walk it easily up a hill, as this will enable walk mode. But all in all, I really do like this e-bike. Again, I really love it due to the fact that it's super lightweight and it actually rides like a bicycle, because when you're pedaling, even with the engine engaged, you're still engaged, and it really does feel more like a workout than other e-bikes that just try to feel like a motorcycle. So because of that, this is why this is easily my favorite e-bike of the year. Anyways, there you guys have it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Again, links to this e-bike and more stuff will be linked in the video description down below. So if you're planning on picking one up, I highly recommend using the affiliate links to save some money. If you want to find out more on the other e-bikes that Velotric has to offer, check out this video over here where I covered the unique features that the Discovery 1 has. This is the bike I previously was using day to day, but now I swapped to this. But if you're shopping around, there's some advantages that one has, especially in its features. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.